Hello there, ladies and gentlemen! Mole Trap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. Look at that, by the way, we got the GOM logo. It's kind of a funny little juxtaposition that we have the GomTV MSL, whereas GomTV ended up being known for StarCraft 2 later and kind of breaking with the StarCraft 1 leagues a little bit, kind of being an alternative. Anyway, we got a nice match here today for you guys between Savior and Bisu. We saw Savior a moment ago. There's Bisu on your screen right now. Playing for NBC Game Hero, a team which, well, I guess all the teams are no longer, but one of the teams that dissolved in the early wave of dissolutions in like 2010 or 11 or something like that. Was replaced by Team 8. Anyway, we got a historic match here today, ladies and gentlemen, between Savior, the Zerg player, and Bisu, the Protoss player. And we are looking at this because it's a game that is crucial to the evolution of the Zerg versus Protoss matchup. Or perhaps I should say the Protoss versus Zerg matchup. Now, a couple things to get out of the way before we get too far into this. There's their Protoss player, by the way, Bisu, which is Korean for dagger, in case you were curious. And here's our purple Zerg player at the bottom of the map. It's going to be Savior, Maja Yoon. Savior is English for Savior. In any case, real quick, I want to mention, first of all, I always do this, but I'll just mention it real quick. Oh, we got some past winners over there, by the way. Zelos in the middle. I forgot the names of the other two guys that were sitting next to him, but they are both pros as well, famous pros. In any case, was that much? I think it might have been much on the left. I'm not sure. I've already forgotten. Anyway, Savior, match fixer, scumbag, but you gotta hand it to him. Was the best player of basically of 2006. He won basically everything. Absolute crazy. I mean, his name is Ma Jae-yoon, and they called him Ma Bonjour as one of his nicknames because Bonjour is like a Korean term for like the absolute very best, right? And so, you know, people like Boxer and Nada were, you know, referred to as Bonjours in their time, Flash. So, you know, the absolute best of a time is the Bonjour. And Savior was in 2006. He was an absolute legend there. We've got some teammates, some of Bisu's teammates over there. Again, their names are escaping me. I recognize those two guys in the front, but I forgot their names. I think they're Protoss players, though, for some reason, off the top of my head. Anyway, so we got some early harassment here going on by Bisu. And we're looking at this match because it's very important because Savior was winning everything. And, I mean, I already said the reason why I did this game was because of the fact that Bisu won. So I'm sorry that I'm kind of going to spoil it from the beginning a little bit. But that's like the point of this, is that it was the stop to Savior's run. And so I wanted to cast it just because I've never actually watched these games before. And just wanted to do some Bisu games because, again, thank you again to Bisu fan who sent me a donation on Ko-Fi. Actually, I don't know if it's pronounced Ko-Fi or Coffee. Anyway, he sent me a donation, asked to do some best of Bisu games. And this is the series where Bisu first made a big splash. Like, he was known as a good player before this, obviously, but like this is when it was like, OMG, he beat Savior. And so we're seeing, you know, this build, and the fast expansion was not new, and we've been watching a little bit of Savior beating other Protosses recently as well. And, you know, we've been watching a lot of ZVPs from the last few years before this, 2003, 4, 5, 6. And so the fast expansion is not what's new about this build. Now, the other disclaimer I want to make is that, you know, I am not really capable of understanding in depth the subtleties of this build and the differences. So I'm kind of exploring this myself and trying to see if I can understand it and just kind of observe it and just watch it happen. But if you're looking for like an in-depth explanation of why the Bisu build was different and why it was able to succeed over Savior's style, I'm not going to be able to give you the nuts and bolts exact build order, anything like that. But we can watch the game together and have fun at least and kind of see how it goes. Hey everybody, Future Mole Trap cutting in here just to mention that if you do want high-level commentary, these games were actually commentated at the time by Day9 and Nony, who was a top USA Protoss player as well. So if you want that high-level commentary, check out. There's going to be a link in the video description. You can watch the VODs and hear them talk about it as well. Okay, back to Past Mole Trap. What I will say, though, is that from what I understand, you know, basically it really is a build. Like, it's specifically a very perfected build where, you know, everything is just down to a T, right? People in StarCraft, players learn build orders. Is that a 4th base, by the way? Savior already getting his 4th hatchery down at another base location, by the way, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, this is how we saw him win versus the other Protoss players. That I've got to sneeze. I'm so sorry. Whoa. Excuse me. Anyway, we saw him win versus other Protoss players by kind of just, you know, the way that Zerg wins in this matchup, which is distracting the Protoss and getting just a giant economy, outplaying them in the early game and having too much of an economy in the late game and getting those 3 or 4 bases versus the Protoss 2 bases and just out-macroing the crap out of them later on in the game. And so, you know, that's kind of what he's going for here. Getting a 4th base. Pretty crazy, but still, you know, he's scouted Bisu. He's seen that there's not much of a threat. There's not really a lot coming out here. Anyway, but so here we see, you know, basically if you think about it, and I've kind of gone over this before, the Bisu build is, you know, normally if you do a fast expansion, it's a risk because you're putting resources into the expansion. If you do fast Stargate tech, it's a little bit of a risk because you're putting money into the Stargate tech. If you do fast Dark Templar tech, it's a little bit of a risk because you're putting money into the Dark Templar tech. Bisu's doing all 3 at the same time. All 3 at the same time. And so, you know, just on a ground level, like, this is extremely risky to put this much resources into all of this different investments. They're all investments, right? StarCraft is a game of investment. You can either spend money now for something that has effect now, or you can invest in something that will have more of an effect later. That's the heart of StarCraft, basically. That's why you tech, it's why you expand, etc. And so by investing and only investing in 3 different trees at once, expansion, air tech, and Templar tech, you know, all of his resources are typed in there. His army is actually really small. Look at that. He's got 2 Zealots and a Dragoon. A couple cannons behind them as well. But it's the kind of thing that could easily get busted in the right situation. But part of the Bisu build is scouting and making sure that you're prepared for that and having just an absolute airtight wall as well. And actually, Savior does sneak through some Zerglings. He's going to see the Stargate. He's going to see the Templar Archives, but it might be too late. And here is the heart of the strategy, by the way. We're seeing it unfold more and more. We've seen him take out these Overlords left and right. But, you know, that's the whole thing. Sarah DT is not anything super new. You know, you use the Corsairs. Oh, and the DT sneaks by the Sunken Colony. It's going to get into the main. And I think Savior was depending. Yeah, the drones are running for the hills. The Savior was planning on, you know, having defenses for Dark Templars, but the Corsairs killed off the Overlord, and then he was able to. And he's going straight for the Spire. If he can kill the Spire, he won't be able to make enough Scourge to deal with all of these Corsairs, and Bisu will just kill every Overlord on the map. The Hydralisks come in, and the Overlord comes in, but it's too late. The Spire has been killed off by that one Dark Templar, and Corsairs going after these Overlords as well. There are a few Hydralisks in play, so that he can actually chase away those Corsairs, but there's DTs running all over the map. He's going after this 4th base now, gets a little bit caught up by the Hydralisk in a nice, perfect spot to block, but that Dark Templar chops right through him instead. Bisu trying to get a 3rd base amongst all of this, just using this distraction. Savior, to his great credit, is on top of that, though. A lot of players would be thrown so off guard defending that they wouldn't respond to this this expansion attempt by Bisu. So Bisu is going to be forced to cancel that 3rd Nexus and be stuck in his 2nd base. And he's actually building cannons in his main, which is interesting. Okay, and he's scouted the Mutalisk. So before the Spire went down, Savior actually made a significant air army. A bunch of Mutalisks, Possibly some Scourge, and maybe some Scourge around as well. Actually, I'm now remembering we did see those Scourge attack Corsairs earlier on. And he actually doesn't cancel the Nexus. He's going to try and save it. No, he's not. I mean, there's no way to save it, but he's going to come in here and just lose some units, I guess, to kill those Zerglings and just take some Lurker Fire. So a little bit of a misstep there by Bisu. It looks like he finally has Overlord speed upgrades, so he's going to be able to take care of these Dark Templar marching around the map. But that stopped mining at that 4th base for a long time. Killing off the Spire is huge as well. It's such an investment of time and resources that you probably won't see Savior go for another Spire. It'd be really nice to have Scourge. He's going to get one later on, but for now at least he can't really make a greater Spire. Or sorry, make another Spire. And here he comes in for an attack. Bisu actually has been using all this as a distraction, but he has... Oh, and that Dark Templar is hiding in the corner! It never actually left the main base, or maybe he dropped it or snuck another one in, but another Dark Templar sneaks into the main and is attacking the drones while this attack at the front is going on. Beautiful distraction technique. Savior is so on top of it, though. He actually realizes it very quickly, pulls the drones, sends the Mutas to take care of the Dark Templar, sends in the Lurkers to try and take care of these Zealots, but the Zealots are too strong. They don't go down quickly enough. The Lurkers go down. We've got an Archon in play as well. More Zealots being rallied to the front. Now, Savior is still mining at that far right base. He cleaned that up. He's still mining at his main. No, I'm sorry. He's been chased out of his main, but he's still mining at that natural base at least. And I believe there's a 3rd on the map as well. So Savior is actually still able to make some units, but in the meantime, he's forced to fight with drones. And now the drones are running away, realizing that they are outmatched. Okay, they are going to run over to the 3rd base where there are some sunken colonies. But Bisu, you know, he teched up. He got those 2 bases going, and now he's just making units and just pumping them out. He's like, I got everything at the beginning that I need. I built up all of my infrastructure to just output the highest tech units that I want, output everything I need, and now I'm just going to pump units out of several gateways, and he's doing exactly that and just being a nuisance on the map as well. So there's the Spire being rebuilt. He couldn't make it right at the time that his first Spire went down, but now that he's got a little bit of breathing room, he's going to be able to rebuild that Spire. I think he knows that he needs some more air power at the very least. He's going to need Scourge. You know, you need those Scourge in the mid-game to try and pick off observers or something like that. His Mutalisks, some of them have perished as well, and so he's going to be able to rebuild those Mutalisks if he has the opportunity. And there is an opportunity here, actually, because, you know, Bisu has been going primarily ground army units. The Archons, of course, are there to protect the Mutalisks. I'm sorry, protect against Mutalisks, just slaughtering his Zealots. So the Archons are very strong, but he still is a very ground-based army. Not really a lot of the Corsairs have all been killed off, I believe, in the meantime. And it doesn't look like he's rebuilding. I mean, he's just going with this ground army right now. The Bisu, excuse me, I have the hiccups now as well. Sneezing, hiccuping. Any case, we've got High Templar in the mix as well. And, you know, Mutalisks are obviously incredible at being able to run in and pick off High Templar before they can do too much damage to your ground army. You know, the Lings and Lurkers and what have you are the ones that are actually really going to probably clean up this army, if possible. Bisu marching into 4th base again. Savior has been really stressed to defend it. It's not super far away from his main, but it is far enough away that it's difficult to get reinforcements over there. And Bisu has, you know, taken this moment to get a bunch of cannons up. Savior's not having of it, though. He's sending in a bunch of Lurkers and Lings over here. The Lings are all dead now, but it's getting the Lurkers time to get on top of the cannons and kill most of them. The Mutalisks, of course, targeting the cannons as well, but it's just not fast enough. Bisu coming in with multiple observers, a bunch of Dragoons, a few Zealots to help out as well, and he's going to clean up that attack and save the base. And there's the GG! Savior loses the 4th, has nothing to deal with the army that is defended, and just knows that he's going to be overrun in the near future, and GG's out. So Bisu brilliantly played, and I think it's kind of funny there that we have the GOM logo, since GomTV was a multiple time sponsor of the MSL, but then like later on they became known as, you know, the primary sponsor for StarCraft 2, obviously, since I worked for them and casted StarCraft 2 for GomTV. But anyway, it's just kind of a funny little juxtaposition there. So anyway, so Bisu takes game number 1. And, you know, just a really cool... like I said, it's just really interesting that he's able to fine-tune his build enough, just closely enough, carefully enough, precisely enough, boldly enough that he's able to get everything in the game that you would want. Economy, tech, all at the same time, while still being like defensive enough that he's not going to get overrun by Savior. And the thing is now that I'm thinking about it, like, it's kind of a counter to Savior's style. So maybe that's where, you know, this came from, is like Savior's style is to do the same thing, right? Savior plays a little bit loosey-goosey with his defense and macros like crazy and wins the mid game because he's got too much of an economy. And Bisu's like, okay, well, if you're not going to attack me early on because you're a macro player, fine. If I know that you're not going to attack me, I'll get a bare minimum defense and defend, you know, any minor initial pushes or anything like that. And I'm going to get everything in the map. Or not everything in the map, everything in the game, I guess I should say. Get all my tech going, get my expansion going. So I wonder if that maybe, you know, what is going on with this build, that it's kind of a counter to Savior specifically, who's taken off his jacket now. He means business now. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for game 1 of this MSL finals. Again, this is the GomTV MSL finals from, it was the 2006/7 season. So it started in November of 2006, ended in March of 2007. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. We're going to do the whole series, and so look out for game number 2 very soon.